A few fun facts about the movie we are reviewing today. One, don't fact check me on this, but it is one of the greats in the romance film genre. Two, millions of men, husbands and boyfriends, and now our very own podcaster have been forced under duress to watch this movie. And three, I have cried all the times I have watched this movie. Will I recommend it? Remains to be seen. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Faithful Critics. I'm Ashley.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Dorina.
And today we're reviewing The Notebook. Yay! The crowd goes wild, including Steven. Yay!
Go wild, go wild.
I'm going wild right now. I'm going wild.
Yeah.
Guys, if you this is wild. Going very wild.
Very wild. Yes. So The Notebook is a romance film. I think we haven't dabbled in a bit of romance in a while. Yeah. And it's I think one of the movies, most rewatched movies. I think most women have watched it like not once but several times. So it's a romantic movie that centers around Noah and Allie. So it starts from the start of the film. You see these two individuals in the old people's home. They're aging, and so this lady has dementia and she can't remember where she is, what's going on. And there's this guy who comes and shows like an interest in her, and he reads her this story about this young couple. And now this couple is Noah and Allie. So Noah and Allie meet in the like early 1900s. It's like set in America. I think they were going to war at some point, so maybe around like 1940s Uko. So it centers around them and their life, and they meet, and Ali is coming from a very well-to-do family. She had like good aspirations, like she didn't even have time for anything. One of the things that Noah makes fun of her about is she doesn't have time to do anything because she's doing Spanish class, art class, all these other things. And Noah comes from a poorer background. His mom, I think, had died, so it's just him and the dad, and they seem to have a more homely kind of life. They are very they have like a very warm relationship. They're very kind to each other. They have fun. So we see that. And when Ali meets Noah, that's part of the life she likes about him, that he has like a family that's not cold and methodical, despite the fact that she comes from a very wealthy family. So these two individuals, Noah and Ali, fall in love, and they're young. I think Ali was like 17 years. They're young, and inevitably, as young love often does, it dies when Ali goes to school. But they have like a whole fight about it when she wanted to go. Noah wanted her to go to school, and she's like, she doesn't even want to do school, Yeah, I'm just gonna stay here with you. But then, of course, Ali's parents were having none of that. So she goes to school, and Noah, they leave it on a bad note. So she goes to school, and Noah writes her a letter every single day for like a year, but Ali never gets those letters. So she thinks that it ended then, and that was it. So fast forward a couple of years, now Ali has finished. She becomes like a nurse, and during the war, of course, there are like soldiers who are wounded, and she becomes like a nurse, and she takes care of this particular guy who ends up being her fiancé in future. And Noah continues on with his life after things with Ali ended. He enlists at some point, gets into the army. His dad died at some point, but then he lives a very, very quiet life. And when they were young, Ali had this dream about a house that she wanted. She wanted, the house was painted white and blue. It had like a porch around so that they could sit there and enjoy the sunset. So she had this dream.
And she wanted a view of like, what is it? Window painting, something. Yeah.
Oh, you really enjoyed this movie. So she has like this aspiration of what she wants this house to be. And Noah, despite the fact that they've been broken up for years at this point, builds his house exactly how Ali had wanted it. And one day when and he tries to sell the house, because I mean, you've built this whole house and it's never gonna work out. He knows that Ali has moved on with her life, and he wants to sell it, but then for some reason he never manages to sell it. When someone bids a price that's low, of course it's like it's too low. If it's high, he's like, it's too high. Why are you crazy for bidding that amount of money for this house? So that's a bit hilarious.
Yeah,
But
chasing people away with a gun.
yeah, exactly. Stuff that would only happen in America. Yeah. So eventually it becomes like a local news story that this guy has this house, and now Ali, as I had mentioned, got engaged to this guy, and well, she's trying on dresses. She sees in the paper Noah standing outside the house that she had dreamed about, and that changes everything. She even faints. That changes everything because it's
So
like,
dramatic, so dramatic.
It's so dramatic. So it changes everything. She faints, and then she's like, she wants to go see Noah to get closure, I guess. But so she wants to go see, and when so she goes and she kind of reassures the fiance that she's okay, she has no problems with, like, she's not second guessing the relationship or anything. And then now she goes to see Noah. And actually, I forgot to mention that part of the Noah's or Ali's relationship with her fiance was one of those that even the parents approved of, and even the guy is like, one of the things that I think is wrong about our relationship is that your parents approve of me, and of course she's still like very rebellious, and the parents never approved of Noah. So anyway, so Ali goes to see Noah in this house, and unfortunately she gets involved with him, and then now it becomes like a complicated mess because now she has this fiance that she really, really loves and she's committed to, but then also there's Noah, the old flame that has come back up. So we have like a moment where we don't know what she's gonna do. She talks to Noah, she talks to the fiance, and eventually she goes back to Noah. But then you remember at the start of the story was these old people in a home. So the story is actually their story, and the guy reads the story to her so that the lady remembers, because she has dementia and she forgets. So when he finishes the story, she remembers, and they have this moment before now the lady goes into her dementia episode again, and it's very beautiful. And then at some point in the night, he of course is very lonely and stuff, and he goes to see the wife in the old people's home because they're like in different rooms. So goes to see her, and then for some reason she remembers her, and then the emotional part is that they die together. It's very emotional. Some people may say it's cheesy, but it's not. It's very emotional. So that is basically the plot of The Notebook. I mean, from the end, you can see why it's very appealing to a lot of the ladies. Yeah. So is there anything I've left out?
No.
Yeah.
That's quite
extensive.
Pretty much it.
The plot shows how many times I've watched this movie, unfortunately. So anyway, so today we're going to do something different. I want us to do a challenge of red, green, or beige. So red flag, green flag, or beige flag. So red, of course, is bad. Green is okay, and then beige is questionable. So there are a lot of morally questionable things, and you can already have guessed from what I've mentioned in the summary of the movie. So let's start. One, when Ali and Noah meet, Ali doesn't give Noah the time of day. She's out with some other guy, and Noah, in order to get her attention, gets on a ride and hangs on it like dangerously. Even releases like anabaki amejishikilia na mkono moja, asking Ali to go out with him. Others, well, he's in that state, so of course Ali has to go out with him because like that's dangerous. And then of course guys are like, hey, go out with him. For real. So anyways, do we think that was a red flag, green flag, or beige flag on Noah's part?
For me, I think it was a red flag. It was
yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's impressive that he was that athletic.
And he has that upper body strength.
And you know what?
On one hand, Ryan Gosling. Hey.
Guys out there, do not try this at home.
Yeah.
Do not jump on a moving Ferris wheel and
it's a Ferris
go after
wheel.
the woman that your eyes have been set on.
Yeah. So actually, sorry, I hadn't mentioned it's a Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
Ni kama unakaa hapo Two Rivers, hiyo ni
Alafu unashikilia moja.
and you're asking the
unahang.
lady, go out with me or else.
And like mko hapo almost at the top. But you know, the Ferris wheel in Two Rivers goes a bit slowly. So
Hey,
not really
arm
bad.
strength must
Yeah.
be, you must trust. Anyway, we're not, don't try.
Do not recommend.
Don't
We
try.
don't recommend that behavior.
Red, bad behavior.
Stop it.
Yeah. I thought it was a red flag because it's coercion. It's coercion, and I've grown up to realize that there's a difference between coercion and consent, where coercion is you really put at a corner and you have to make that decision, or there'll be unfortunate or bad consequence afterwards. And consent is really being given the freedom to either say yes or no, with no repercussions. So that was coercion. And to me, that entire encounter before she finally accepts his personality was just pure coercion. The entire time they were trying
what
to
else
date.
does he do?
Like the time when they now meet again in the street and she said, "Oh, I just said yes because you were about to die." And then he keeps insisting. Boss, asha kata, acha nae.
To be honest, I mean, the fruit is in the. Whatever the expression is, like in the end, did they not? Okay, does the end justify the means? Absolutely not. But
the end was the end anyway.
The end was the end anyway.
But you have to
Anyways,
give it up for
it was a
Black
wrong
Black.
footing to start on.
He had to find a way to get her attention. You're not gonna defend one of your own.
Like just I'd say
Me, I think it's plausible as a strategy. Just I don't know what are the percentages of it working. One, maybe you don't have the upper strength to hold yourself before the person says yes, and you fall down
To
at
your
the first
untimely
instance to your
demise.
untimely demise or broken limbs or whatever that is.
And then now what?
Yeah, now what?
You can't
Or
even take her out.
it just leaves such a bad impression that this lady isn't ever going to look your way. And there's no chance of you.
Okay, so you're saying it's a bit desperate.
I don't know. But he was pretty certain. But anyway.
so now
For plot purposes,
Yeah.
it worked.
It worked, but
Not
red
recommended.
flag.
It's a red flag.
Okay.
So then, because I want to ask with how you're trying, you're kind of trying to say that if you're set on someone, do the most so that you can get them, but not
No.
do that much.
No, I mean, pursue if your eyes are set on someone. Don't hold yourself back. But also within the parameters of sanity, I guess. Within the realms of sanity, so that it's not like... but also they say love is insanity. Right? There's such an
Even
expression
Solomon
somewhere.
couldn't understand.
He couldn't understand it.
Hey, mambo.
It's incomprehensible. So maybe this was even outside his character.
Okay. Was it outside his character?
No, it was a bit
Yeah.
extreme with a lot of things.
Yeah.
He built that house by himself.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was extreme. He was
Yeah.
extreme as a character.
To be fair, okay, he was charming. So maybe that's what ended up.
Yeah. So if it worked, so it was like, oh yeah, he has a
Yeah,
body
the
strength and
theory,
stuff.
the theory, because you said he was charming. The theory of if he was someone
Yes.
who
Yes.
she's called Ali.
Unsolicited
Ali was
and-
not even remotely attracted
Interested
to
Yeah.
creepy
Yeah.
behavior.
Creepy
Bad,
behavior.
bad behavior.
100%.
Very, very
Yeah.
bad behavior.
Yeah.
If it wasn't Ryan Gosling,
If it wasn't,
Yeah.
yeah. Sour. Number 2. So Ali's mom. Oh, actually, I think we've agreed. Even I
Yeah.
think it was a red flag. So number 2, the point where they were separated. Noah wrote to Ali a letter every day for a whole year. That's 365 letters. Very romantic. So he did that, but Ali's mom never delivered the letters. Was that a red flag from Ali's mom?
so just a small comment on the letters. Yes, handwritten letters are very romantic. So the gentlemen who are listening,
Write the letters.
write the
man.
letters. Like
Write the
even in this
letters.
day and age, I think there is an expression you can tell your lady, in handwritten letters. That would be nice. So
Tunaibia siri maze. Tunaibia siri.
So for the action itself, initially I thought it was red because how dare you as the mom refuse to let your child know that they are loved, or there's someone out there who's longing for them or who wants to connect with them. So at first it was red because why would she do that to her daughter? But then when I thought about it, I realized it could actually be beige, where it's questionable as bad behavior, but when you look at it from the mother's perspective, it's my daughter is 17. For women, unfortunately, or for, let me say then, for myself, the choices I made when I was 17 or the men I was attracted to when I was 17, no, thank God I'm not married to them. No. And that's foresight that my mom would have. And she would be like, watu tu ni ma vagabonds, achana now. Like, they will not add any value to you. So when you think about it as a mom trying to protect her teenage girl from making the wrong choice, you kind of see it as, okay, with the amount of information she had, it makes sense that she would not want the child to pursue him. So
Yeah, but it was, I think we have to examine motives here because, of course, we're not supposed to go into that conversation. But, like, I get the, she has the, like, she can see, she has the foresight.
yeah.
Yeah, but also the motivations were a bit warped.
Okay, yes.
The reason that walikuwa na mkataa were not the reasons that you should kata
Yeah,
someone.
it's not character based.
Yeah, it's not character based. It was more so
class.
Class,
based, which is problematic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then it's like on the spectrum from red to beige, it's like pinkish.
It's a pink
Yeah.
flag.
So for you, it's absolute red.
Well, yeah, it's red. It's red. But I can see the borderline argument. I see the borderline
Because,
argument.
yeah, I mean, like,
'Cause
she has
it's
a
a-
duty to protect her child.
The duty
Yeah.
exists, and as long as this person is still under my care, then I am the one. I have like what is it? The authority to kind of do certain things for their well-being.
Yeah.
Quotes in quotes. So
Regardless of whether you think the motivations are...
is wrong. Yeah. In as much as now from the film we knew what the motivations were. Yeah.
Yeah. And then also she'd also had like a similar experience with the guy, and then she ended up marrying the other guy, the rich guy, rather than the worker guy.
Yeah.
But then also that was a criticism from Ali that their relationship of the parents was less, it wasn't passionate, it was just more like the
Customary.
yeah, which again we can have a conversation about whether that is necessarily wrong or right.
So yeah, because like in our context, our parents aren't really like very visually affectionate. Especially now, this is just generally as
African
Kenyans,
society.
yeah,
But they
as Africans,
They
but
function.
they work.
They function quite
So
well. Yeah.
it's not the same way as Americans, because when you watch some American shows, especially white shows, they show the parents even kissing in front of the family, in front of the children. And
I think
I'm sure in an African home they will be like, "Mnafanya nini?"
Abomination.
in our adult years and in our adult wisdom, quotes in quotes, we have come to realize that love is, or quotes in quotes, what we refer to as love and young love is not sufficient to sustain
Yep.
a long-term marriage, long-term relationship that's leading to marriage, and that's meant to last for an entire lifetime. It takes so much more, and I think at the pinnacle of the hierarchy is God's grace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, God's grace. Because you know that some, okay, sorry, this is a bit on a tangent, but like, you know, the way like you'd see some people and you'd think that would absolutely work out, they're perfect for each other, but then it doesn't end up working out, because ultimately, like, you can do some things that would help it to be right, but then ultimately it's God who sustains. Yeah, but anyways, that was a bit of a tangent.
Yeah.
So let's go back to our red, green, or beige flags. This is an interesting one. So Ali went to see Noah when she saw that he'd built the house to see her for closure. First of all, can you
did you hear how I
define...
needed my voice when you said closure?
Oh,
It's like, are
Closure
we
doesn't exist.
closure?
what is closure
Is it
actually?
closure with
Closure doesn't exist.
a K? Closure with a K.
So how I understand closure is if you're in a heightened emotional state with someone, so either anger or unresolved emotional state. So either it can be conflict or it can be now the attraction or love in this case. Is there another one? I think those are the two major ones that will cause someone to, unless someone has another one. So those two, so conflict or like unresolved love. There. So now you want to go and meet the other person or talk to the other person to kind of resolve the situation and find a way forward together, or separately. So for conflict, it's to see if there is any resolution that can be found. And I think for romance, it's to see if the lingering feelings are valid or not. That's what I would explain closure.
But I think it's very context dependent.
Yes.
Context dependent. And I think we have to caveat the whole closure business with it doesn't hinge on the other person to give you closure.
Yes, it doesn't.
It doesn't hinge. It's you are ultimately you have agency in whether you decide to either ruminate or think about things that happened in your past with the level of, I don't know, emotional significance you attach to those events. So there is agency you exercise there.
It's not just you just in love
And
with
also,
someone and
why I say context driven is the devil is in the details. So if you're going to seek closure, how are you going about it? If, for example, it's for the conflict reason, and while you were together, that was unresolvable with the two of you, what's giving you certainty that when you go as an individual at that point in time, that stage that you are, or that place that you are in that process, what gives you certainty that this person has maybe evolved to a place where you can resolve conflicts in a different way to you, how you used to resolve in the
broke
past?
up for a reason.
Yeah. That notwithstanding,
Or even, were you the aggressor?
exactly, could be
The
as well.
details.
And if it was a bad situation, maybe trauma inducing, maybe there was abuse, quotes in quotes, the perpetrator is one of the two parties in question. What are the chances of you going back to reopen very, very maybe deep wounds, deep-seated emotional wounds that will now cause you more grief in your current state, in your current situation, whatever that situation may be. And also, let's say, for example, in the context of this film, Allie's engaged to
So
another
is it okay
individual.
to seek closure at that point even?
I think it's moot. And I think, honestly, if she was to examine what was happening within her mind, that was the most irrational thing that she could have done. The most irrational thing, because she knew what she was doing. That's exactly what her mom said. She knew what she was doing. And what would happen at the event of, like, this guy appearing in front of me, this is the house, this is what he looks like. And all these emotions are flooding back. You know, this is how we are engaging. I can already see a sense in which I'm still attracted to this person in a very strong way. And now you live with that cognitive dissonance for a period of time and make the bad decisions that you make, maybe to compromise in that instance, or, I don't know, second guess yourself if you are certain about the decision you had made with the other person. So,
Red flags all through for you.
Or for you, it was red.
yeah, it's red. I think it was red.
I think it was beige. I think it was beige because I feel like it would have been a more redder flag for her to proceed with the wedding and have still some doubts on the relationship. I think that one would have been redder than now having that unresolved emotion and going to see if, am I being insane with having this unresolved emotion? Like, did this man really ignore me for all these years and then still decide to build the house that we had talked about? How does this make sense? Because, she was not receiving the letter. So she thinks, no, amemsahau.
But remember the state, she seemed to be doing well. And remember what happened when the reverse, when Noah had seen Allie in the streets and stopped a bus, even alighted before it had stopped, to run after her and see where she was, only to find her in the arms of another man. What did he do in that step? He was like, kame happen, nimekubali. Wacha tuende.
Akaenda kajenga nyumba.
Yeah, I know. He was grieving, but that was his process in a sense. And I think Noah, in narrating, the old Noah narrating, was like at least giving context. He was like, he didn't know why he was doing it, but maybe in the back of his mind, what was going through his mind was, this house will somehow bring her back. Bring her back to me. And life, I think, for him I think it stopped. Yeah, life for him stopped at that point. So he was kind of just going through the motions.
Yeah. I feel like you're starting to touch on another
Okay,
red,
so-
green. Yeah.
okay,
But
cool.
yeah.
Yeah. Nimewacha.
So are you convinced?
No, I'm not. I still think it's beige because to me, then it means as well, from Noah's perspective, he was doing it intentionally to bring her. Like even if at the moment he didn't know, there's a sense in which even if he was aware she was with someone else, he still thought she was his.
No. But
And
he went about
therefore-
his life. Here's the thing. For him, it wasn't an element of yeye ndio alijieka out there.
Yes, that's true.
That's-
Even
he
with the
just went.
paper, like it seems it just happened.
And who's to say that ultimately he wouldn't have moved past what happened, like in an alternate reality.
Okay, already as it was,
Both.
he hadn't moved past, but he had found a way to live life.
Watch me make one other very strong argument which I had
Okay.
left. This is my joker card.
Sawa.
Sawa.
Like
Ujika
this.
tuko na A.
No, joker, we tukula tano. Haya. So she's engaged to someone. And if this person that she's engaged with, she's not honest to tell him, I have seen this person in the papers and this is what is happening to me right now. If she can't communicate that with that person, then that's for me is why.
Already shows the intentions.
Exactly shows the intentions. You're keeping it concealed. And when it's concealed, there's more likelihood, there's a more likelihood of it now cascading into what it cascaded into. And so for that reason, I say it's a red flag.
Fine. Okay. I see that one. That one. Yeah, that was a good card. To
Yeah,
play.
and even then, okay, sawa, hatuko na A. And even then, I think if she had told him that, like, I don't think she would have been like, or he would have been okay with her going.
Yeah, he wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he does actually adamantly ask, should I be worried about us? And then
She gaslights.
she gaslights him. And
Oh
yeah,
no, she gaslit him.
No, you have nothing to be worried about. We are good.
Hey, kumbe.
Now let's get to the reddest flag of all.
The men will have to have a red flag handler.
Mnatafutilia. Actually, no, he wasn't building to get attention. He wasn't.
He was building it to get it out of his system.
He
He didn't
somehow the
know
house
why.
would bring her
He
back.
didn't know
Yeah.
why. Exactly. That's what he said.
He
in
needed
his
like
narration.
something to do, I guess.
But
And-
you see, the thing is, he did something. His life went on. Alijenge nyumba. No, you know what? He put it out in the market. He wasn't sure he wanted to stay there because he wasn't sure about how his life was going. And so, kulikuwa na potential. So it was a wonderful house, a wonderful project.
Yeah.
And the house looked beautiful, gorgeous. In as much as it was hinged on a very monumental person. That he was still very clinging close to. So he went on. He did something. It was for utility.
Yeah, let me reorder.
Yeah.
Let me reorder my questions because I think this one is more
But
important.
anaweza kuwa alikuwa simple.
But yeah, the thing of still on that, like the way that Noah kind of centered his life from that point around Ali, was that a red, green, or beige flag? Because
Centered
he
his
built
entire life, yeah.
Yeah, he built a house. He didn't love anyone else. He didn't even try to progress in his life as much. It was all centered around the relationship that he had with Ali.
Maybe
And he actually
not
kind of
try.
says it. He
You know,
says it.
in the film, he does a very good job of acting in such that you can see very clearly he's with this other widowed lady, but he's not there.
Yeah.
Like he's not there, and I think that's you can tell even when he was narrating, he was just like manzeri hapa tulikuwa natafuta tu comfort, but he wasn't there, and it was unfair both to him and the lady. Yeah, but again, in an alternate universe or reality, who's to say that if Ali never comes back and he's like, time moves on, because time does always ultimately heal the wounds that sit deep. So who's to say that he wouldn't have found an actual...
No, actually, I saw a quote recently on that. Like, time doesn't necessarily heal wounds. It makes it just a bit easier to go through life. What heals is God.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, but God is the habit of time.
Okay. Tumeacha, it's good. It's good. Yeah. But yeah, I think the centering, I feel like he wouldn't have moved on.
Even me,
I don't think he would have moved on because
No,
already
but you
enough
see now we're in
time.
the ifs.
No,
We're in
the
the
reason
ifs.
why
Ifs
I
and-
think he
ifs and
wouldn't
maybes.
have moved on is also when it ends, like the children are I know it ends in
Wanamwambia,
such a nice
Aki,
way.
she's
Yeah.
not coming back. Ako pabaya, please just come back to us. We need you. We miss you. But then he's like,
I will still center my life around this
around
lady.
this lady.
Red flag. I know it ends well.
Mnatafuta tu ya revenge. Semeni
Okay.
ukweli. Motivation
Okay,
is
like,
gani?
it's
Are they
no.
genuine? Are
No.
they genuine?
No, I feel like not doing this is kind of one of those things where you watch, okay, from a lady's perspective, you watch a movie and you hope that the person you marry would be like
is
someone
going to
who
pine
does
for
that.
you in that
But then,
way.
like, when you really think about it, he has no life outside of Ali, which is not right. Like, that's nearly like obsession. Yeah,
It is.
he's obsessed with her. So I feel like, yeah, that kind of is a red flag. Like, you need to have purpose. You need to be doing, or maybe they don't portray it. They don't even show what he does for work after that.
Yeah, they don't.
They
They
just
don't
show that
portray
he
it, yeah.
rose like his cabot in this like nice place where the ducks. Oh, it's so beautiful.
It's very
But like we don't
nice.
see him doing. Oh, he maybe builds furniture, I guess.
That's what I thought. Maybe becomes a carpenter or like
Yeah.
a joiner in a
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Yeah, but then like we don't see him actually finding like joy in other things aside from Ali, which is
His joy was gone
problematic.
for sure. His joy was gone.
Yeah,
Which is
exactly. Which is
problematic.
yeah,
which is problematic.
which is-
Yeah.
It's, from our perspective, it should be a red.
Yeah.
Acha nikubali, because now his purpose was hinging on another individual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
And
maybe
his
to the
joy.
point of idolatry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So was he a simp or not?
He was.
Remains to be seen.
But si nyinyi mlipenda movie, ai?
Yeah.
Ama?
Yeah. Yeah. So let's go to the biggest red flag. And yeah, the biggest red flag just has to go out to Ali. There's no way I'm saving my girl. Rachel
Exactly.
McAdams does such a good job in this movie, but there's no way.
Exactly.
So Ali gets
redemption.
involved with Noah despite the fact that she is engaged. So the closure ends up with her getting involved.
Yeah.
Biggest red flag. No,
Yeah,
no
that's-
notes. No notes.
No notes.
No,
no
Yeah.
notes.
no notes.
That was very unkind to her fiance, very hurtful to her fiance, and I feel like her fiance should have been more frustrated. Like he kind of just brushed it off, like it's fine. You go to the person who you love, and I'm like, no, you should be mad. You should be fuming. Yeah, it's very unfair that she hurt him in that way. Because like now, when you raised it when she was leaving, I think it would have been proper for her to just tell the fiance that this is what is
Plain facts,
causing.
this is what is happening.
It
within
will
me.
still be hurtful.
I know it would be, but
But to
at
be
least it would be.
truthful.
She's being honest with me. I'm not being taken for a fool, you know. And at that point, he can now exercise agency. Hey, am I ready to deal with this, or how
Yeah.
do I deal with this now that it's Ricard?
Or
it's
even
not.
said
It's
like
not her
a-
fault that
yeah.
she saw the newspaper. It's not her fault. Ili akuenda kutafuta, sindio? But sasa after ameona, now she exercises choices
Yeah.
that are.
He didn't even get like a
Disingenuous or not.
chance to set like a boundary, like if you go then that's it for me. Like he didn't even get that chance.
Yeah, that's true.
He gave consent, like uninformed consent. Now that we're talking about consent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also another thing on that is, you know, the way like this is like a phenomenon that often happens, but the rule is if someone gets with someone else, if they're already committed to you, chances are it's going to happen as well. So in this movie they showed the exception where that doesn't happen. But then like if someone isn't like willing to commit, or maybe I'm saying it like as a black and white, but yeah, if someone isn't able to commit to you, then chances are they won't in future. Yeah, to the person they're with, they won't commit to you
It's
in
an
future.
indication of
Yeah.
future behavior.
Yeah, past behavior is indication of future behavior.
It is. And it is our only reference point. We can't see the future. So we rely on the past or what is in the present, what guides, how is this person acting now in the present.
Yeah.
And that is basically what you should not like hinge yourself on the future. Atakuwa, atabadilika.
Yeah.
All these things.
Yeah, and I think even as a woman, like, you know, this is one of those movies, it's like, oh, wow, it's so beautiful, it lands so well. But then, like, this is one of the things that it's very hard to reconcile. Like, just getting past that, yeah, this wasn't right. This wasn't the right thing that happened.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
remembered. I don't know if it was in Friends or it's in another show where it says don't let your wife hold you from meeting your soulmate. I don't know it's in which show. But I feel like there's a
problematic line.
Yeah, it is. It is. There's a particular timeline in the early 2000s where that type of narrative was a lot in some of those romance shows.
yeah.
Where so many of them were kind of trying to show that, well, we can allow for infidelity
Because you're not, because this person doesn't get you.
to
Yeah.
But you see, that's why.
because you're not truly in love, because this person loves you more than the partner you're in. It kind of tries
But the
to
grass is
justify,
always greener on the other side.
Is that an
tries to
indication of
justify
maybe?
infidelity.
Okay, could that be a reason as to why people hold the ideals that they hold about relationships, and maybe the non-committal vibe? Is it because of the culture that, what is it? The messaging, the subliminal messaging that's
be.
happened over the various media that we've watched.
Okay, sorry.
Of we can, you will find the one will come across that one individual,
One person.
who's meant for you will come across. You'll come across them in your lifetime, and you should always go after your one.
No, unajaribu kudodge. I think at the end of the video, Basi, we'll just sit down and discuss all the hard words you have said. Rudimentary, subliminal messaging. Sorry.
What? When did I use rudimentary?
You used it
You
before.
did.
Aye.
You did
Yeah.
use it before.
You're bringing us back to Nini.
Yeah, it could be. It could be the presence of. It feels like we have so much choice now because we have so much access to so many people. So it feels like so I have my own disagreements with the concept of the one, but then it means then it can't truly be like, if my the one is not here, my the one could be this one, it could be that one, it could be the other person, and they could be everywhere. So immediately you feel conflict, or immediately you feel uncomfortable with one person in a way that's maybe not tangible or reasonable. You're like, kuna mwingine anyway atakuja.
That's not the one. That wasn't the one.
Along the road.
My one is out there.
So maybe there's that why we're uncommittal.
Yeah. I think so. And it justifies a multitude of wrongs as well. Yeah.
Because the stories are written so sigh, beautiful. Look at how it ends.
Perfect for each other.
Yeah, they were meant to be. How I Met Your Mother. After Pitia,
Hey, How I Met Your Mother was wild.
Yeah.
Ted. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's another show. But
Tell
you know
she's
what?
a villain.
You know what? I'm gonna throw the one pun here. Maybe in the next episode you'll find out who the one is.
Okay, I see what you did there. Sawa.
You see. Stick around.
Higher. So, lastly, I guess, but this is we've kind of talked about it, and I wanted to end on a lighter note. Noah refusing to leave the nursing home because that's where his wife was. Is that red, green, or beige?
I'll give it beige because of age. I'll give it beige. I know I was criticizing him because he doesn't have a life outside his wife, but I'll give it beige because they are old. She's unwell. He's also unwell. It feels neglectful for the family that is present. So
I wonder though.
His children and his kids, maybe they want to play with their grandfather. They want to have more moments with their father. Because when your father is alive, even if you're older, you still need them in one way or another. So there's that connection. Maybe the kids feel like the dad is not being present for them. But also, when I see that if he leaves, especially with their context where they take their parents to nursing homes, it's very foreign in Kenya.
It is, yeah.
Here they will stay at their houses, and then either one of the siblings will stay with them, or you'll get a caregiver, or most of the time they get a caregiver who stays with them, and then you guys visit. But they're nursing homes, but it's not the way it is in the US. So with that, like, she's going to be there alone with just nurses and other patients. Like, it feels so cold and so
But she still doesn't remember him anyway. So it's also he's staying to be a stranger.
Yeah.
I'm doing the devil's bidding, and I think it is a green flag for me.
I think it's more leaning on green personally on mine. I see the argument for like your family uko nje bado wanakuhitaji, so maybe usijipeane fully huku kwingine. But I also see the part in which, I mean, this is a lifetime commitment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's a lifelong
When you
commitment.
say it like that.
And from where he stood, my kids have grown up. They're now leading their own lives. They have their spouses, they have their families. You know, they've left the nest. Nimebaki na nani? Mabaki na mtu wangu. I'm going to abandon her in that state.
Watoke kwa hiyo nursing home waende waishi kwa nyumba yao wakuwe nurse tuko.
Yeah, perhaps.
Among the choices.
Equal among the choices. But you see now, when you think about that action, like that devotion of love, I think it's he loved visibly, and for me that was actually a high point in this film, depicting the old romance. The young romance, honestly, was just filled with mistakes. Man, lakini huko uzee kuna a sense in which this is wholesome. This is wholesome because it's leave aside the young infatuation nini disipula sila track wamezeka sasa. One is even in like degenerative dementia, like it's so bad, it's getting worse. They can't remember a thing. He goes on to continue reading this story even when she can't remember. Akafanya this grand gesture which led to that, you know, akaingia in an episode where she forgot everything, and that was tragic for him and for her.
And sasa hapo ndio premium tears hapo sasa. Machozi.
Umesurvive?
Nimesurvive. Mimi tujaguzilia sana.
I love this towards the end of it, and you seeing like even after that he still wacha tuende nimuone tena. Najua ni pabaya, najua ni and maybe there was also that selfish I want to be with this person, but there's a devotion for me that speaks to a lifetime commitment, and I think that's a beautiful thing to depict. Yeah.
Green flag. I agree with him entirely. I don't even think I can phrase it as nicely as you put it. Yeah.
So I don't know kama kuna I see your point of view actually.
Hi, so overall, I'd like us to discuss how we like this movie and would we recommend it. So okay, let me start with myself. I love this movie. I actually really like this movie. I guess it's one of those, you know, fantasy kind of thing, but yeah, I do think it has like an unrealistic depiction of love and relationships, in the sense that Noah constantly is kind of obsessed with her, and that's not really like, and also that's not even something you'd want your partner to have something to do or something they're passionate about. So so in that way I think it does offer an unrealistic depiction, and also the Christian themes in there very few, apart from maybe just the way Noah is devoted to his wife even to the very end. So Christian themes are very few, and also there's but yeah, would I recommend it? Honestly, no. Maybe I should.
For real?
Yeah.
Dun. Plot twist.
I know.
I bet you didn't see that coming.
I did not see that one coming.
Hey, shocking you guys.
In my mind, I'm trying to do mental gymnastics to recommend.
Mengangana hapo ya amesema outright no.
Yeah. One, I think you have to consult the parental guide to watch the movie. One. And then two, I think you watch enough of these movies, you start kind of getting unsatisfied with the person who maybe you're finding out here. I'm not saying that you settle for less ladies, but I'm just saying, like, be realistic in the person that you want. So I think if you watch enough of this stuff, then that kind of changes how
it's conditioning you.
It's conditioning you, and that's not how I guess relationship is. Like we mentioned, like our parents may not have like the grand gestures of sijui amekuleta baseball game, amepropose up ama was it Kim Kardashian who was proposed to with a Range Rover, a pink Range Rover in the middle of a stadium?
Yes, by Kanye, I think.
Exactly. They're not gonna do the crazy stuff, but then you see like the life of devotion they have with each other, and that's what, maybe if you're looking for examples, that's what you should be looking at. Of course, one, look at the Bible as a source of instruction on how to live your life, obviously. But now, to look at your parents, look at other people in the society who, or maybe if your parents are not, you can look at other people in the society who are having like marriages that are lasting 30, 40 years. Like, look at how they live, and maybe find counsel from older people like that. So that's why I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay.
I'm with you. For the very well stated reasons.
And then also because you're a dude.
Yeah, as a dude, why watch romance? Unless you have been coerced, manipulated, held a gun to your head,
Yeah, I wanted to
told,
say that.
wewe kosa kuochi, tunakutoa kwa podcast.
Oh, hivyo
Okay,
ndo
that was
tulikwambia.
insane. Why was
Hivyo ndo
insane?
tulikwambia sasa. Unaiba siri huko nje.
Yeah.
So I think I thought you'd recommend it so that I can also recommend it. But in my hierarchy of I'm a romance girl. In my hierarchy of romance movies, it doesn't rank high because of, like we've said,
Those problematic things,
those problematic things, and it's very unrealistic depiction of that attachment between Ali and Noah. So that's why it doesn't rank highly. So because I rank more subtle, more grounded.
Are you
ones.
plugging the people on our video on Pride and Prejudice?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah, please.
I am.
Yeah.
Go watch that one.
Also unrealistic expectations.
Yes, it is.
but more tame.
It is. It is. But yeah. But I loved moments in the movie. So this is what I'm going to say.
Your hands are cold.
Best moment.
So this is what I'm going to say. I won't recommend the movie in general, but Google the Notebook clips on YouTube and just watch those ones. They're really nice. The encounters, how they argue, how there's this rain scene at the boat. My heart. And even how they die. It really has very nice moments. Then go watch the clipped moments.
Yeah. So thank you for sticking with us up to this point. We really appreciate your support. So if you have questions, comments, you can drop them on the comment section. And yeah, till next time. Bye.
Adios.